Top 10 animals you didn't know could fly. Number 1. Wild turkeys. We have a tendency to companion turkeys extra with Thanksgiving than the skies. Generally, on every occasion you spot a turkey in the wild, it's on land. So it is able to come as a surprise that wild turkeys can certainly fly, albeit most effective quick distances. However, once they fly at significant pace. In truth, Live Science claims that they could fly as fast as 55 miles in step with hour, which equates to nearly 90 kilometers in line with hour. The key component is wild turkeys are arboreal, which means they roost in bushes, so that they were given to stand up to there some way. Essentially, flying is extra herbal than climbing for those big birds from the genus Meleagris. While wild turkeys can fly, the ones farmed for human consumption can't. Farmers through the years have bred them to have big breasts, which inhibit their capacity to get off the floor. Number 2. Flying snakes. The concept of a flying snake can also go away. Some people petrified, but these animals do exist, predominantly discovered in Southeast Asia. The proper information is their venom is usually only sufficient to harm small prey together with lizards, rodents, frogs and birds. Not humans. The University of Chicago released a paper on flying snakes in 2015 after observing lead scientist Jake Socha, Ph.D., stated, despite their lack of wing-like appendages, flying snakes are skilled aerial locomotors. Flying snakes don't fly like birds. However, rather they float by knocking down their body into a pseudo-concave wing, C-shape, whilst making wave-like lateral undulations which permits their regular flight. The University of Chicago have a look at additionally showed smaller snakes fly similarly. For what it's worth, most flying snakes simplest develop to 3 or 4 feet in period. Number 3. Ballooning spiders. The idea of spiders ballooning is one of the most creative in the Animal International. It takes place in many species of light spiders, regularly the spiderlings. In essence, those arachnids have developed to release silk threads which capture the wind like a parachute and lead them to airborne, just like kiting. It's an externally powered approach that is particular. While maximum ballooning spiders' journeys are highly quick, some had been regarded to have traveled for loads of kilometers. They climb to their maximum factor and trap the wind with their silk strands. Its purpose is dispersal to move between places. Although casualties are high, there's a notorious tale from Australia's southern tablelands in 2015, whilst tens of millions of spiders mass ballooned, with the silk left in the back of making the geographical region appear to be it became snowing. That is pretty unusual down under. Number 4. Flying squid. It seems bizarre that a pelagic creature would fly, but a few contributors of the Omastrephidae species, aka the aptly named flying squid, have evolved to do that. The maximum common range is located within the waters off Japan. Japanese researchers have claimed that the squid can flow for as much as 30 meters and at 11.2 meters in step with second, similar to Usain Bolt's 100 meters dash tempo. The record by using Japanese researchers also said, "We have found that squid do now not just leap out of water but have a pretty evolved flying posture. These squid waft out of the water, instead of fly, using propulsion before spreading and lengthening their fins and fingers into a vertical function which keeps them airborne." Why do they do that? The concept is to keep away from predators. Squid is usually a key food source, so that they want some defense. Number 5. Draco lizards. There's something specifically lovely approximately Dracos, despite the fact that that subsides a chunk when they take flight. These tiny agamid lizards, associated with iguanas, are able to extending their elongated ribs and the connecting membranes to create wings, the patagia, which permits them to drift. They've also got a secondary flap on their neck to help gliding. It isn't pretty powered flight, but for a 20 centimeters lizard they could flow greater than 50 meters. That's a fair distance extraordinarily speaking. They fly, which will avoid predators at the wooded area floor, however, additionally to discover mates and meals. They are pretty territorial too. They'll often flow from tree to defend their territory. They are little and pressing but easy in motion, but to add to the cuteness, their wings also are brightly colored. Number 6. Flying fish. There are 40 species of those marine fish that may really fly, by propelling themselves out of the water and gliding. Similar to some of the aforementioned animals. Flying fish use this method to break out predators, however glide instead of flying like a hen or bat. Despite having wing-like fins, they're generally observed in the Caribbean island kingdom of Barbados, that's referred to as the land of the flying fish. They're usually located in tropical oceans and inside 200 meters of the floor. Consequently, their evolution to utilize the place above the water stage. A Japanese TV team filmed a flying fish airborne except a ferry for a global record 45 seconds, beating the previous file of 42 seconds witnessed via American researchers in the 1920s. They can fly at speeds of up to 70 kilometers according to hour and cover distances of 400 meters utilizing drafts off waves and beating the water floor with their tail fins to remain airborne. Number 7. Flying squirrels. National Geographic described these creatures as residing respiration paper aeroplanes. Flying squirrels cannot fly like a bird. However, there is an alternative waft making use of their integrated parachute, the patagium, which is a membrane that stretches from wrist to ankle and looks like a hang glider. Their lengthy tail acts as a stabilizer and a brake, at the same time as they use their limbs for path. Flying squirrels flow from tree to tree within forests, to make certain they avoid the predators which occupy the woodland floor. They can waft from anywhere from 40 to 150 meters. Earlier this week, bizarrely, 7 human beings have been arrested and charged in an organized difficult employer to smuggle flying squirrels in Florida, so one can promoting them off as uncommon pets. Number 8. Gliding ants. The spectacular component about gliding ants is they're wingless, but they have got mastered a mode of flight. These arboreal bugs have developed to direct their fall from timber. The phenomenon of gliding ants is particularly newly determined, with University of California biologists writing a paper on them in 2005 given their tree-bound lifestyles. These ants have found out to discover their way back to their authentic tree. In the event that they fall, the usage of visual cues. Biologists studied them to find out that they could flip 180 tiers inside the air. Gliding ants come into tree trunks backwards, hitting them with their rear legs. Often they leap off. It's estimated there's an 85% achievement price of landing at the identical tree trunk. University of Texas insect ecologist Stephen P. Yanoviak stated, in Amazon forests, you without a doubt don't need to fall out of your tree and in the water, due to the fact then you're simply dead. That's what I assume is the most important evolutionary riding mechanism at the back of the behavior. Number 9. Chinese flying frog. Often additionally referred to as Blanford's whipping frog, big tree frog, or Denny's whipping frog, these frogs are extraordinarily massive tree-dwelling species. Despite their size, they're capable of achieving flight by means of gliding among trees. They do that with particular webbed toes and hands that act like parachutes, enabling them to control a sluggish downward airborne slant. British naturalist Alfred Russel Wallace stumbled across those frogs inside the rainforest of Borneo in 1869 and wrote, "The toes are very lengthy and absolutely webbed to their very extremity. so that after extended they offered a surface a lot larger than that of the body. Gliding is an energy-efficient mode of transport for those frogs who don't spend a good deal time at the ground or in water. In reality, they best come down for breeding. Their arboreal behavior has adapted their frame distinctly, with seen variations to our everyday frog. Number 10. Mabulas. There's little recognized about these rays, together referred to as Satan rays. However, what they're regarded for is their belly flops. Scientists now and again talk over with them as ocean acrobats. These fish appear to be most rays with huge wing-like fins. They're sturdy swimmers, commonly in colleges, and that they use that electricity to propel themselves out of the water, regularly flipping or twirling in the air, earlier than flopping returned into the water. Typically they could best get round meters out of the water, so it's not precisely full flight, but it's far uniquely curious behavior all the while. This abnormal interest is one that scientists haven't been capable of completely explain. Despite the fact that there is a concept, it's a manner to stand out from the crowd within the faculty and attract a mate. It is in particular males who jump out of the water, despite the fact that girls do be part of it. The principle claims that folks who impress the spectators with their soar and flop splash have the first-rate chance of dating a mate.